Hey guys, this is Professor Eric Roldan again here in Chapter 6, and I want to go over some practice test questions, and I also posted this on my math lab so you could practice and as many times as you need to feel comfortable. So I especially wanted to get you to ready when this is a different format. It's all a short answer. Okay, so just wanted to point out some tips about the test coming up next week. So it's 20 questions. They're all short answer. So the good news about this is that you're able to earn partial credit if your answer is not correct. So partial credit is possible. Okay, so I want to go over some of the skills you're going to be learning and how many questions you're going to be getting. So remember, there's 20 questions, and I want to go ahead and get started with evaluation. Okay, so first of all, the word evaluate, that's a particular skill. You're going to get about 3 questions with evaluation. And so let's just go over how you get this to work. And so we have an expression, a quadratic expression. So we're going to do, so there's our expression, and we're supposed to use x equals 7. So we're going to just put 7 where the parentheses go. And we just want to use order of operations. So this is 49. Then we can do multiplication next. So that's going to be 28. And then we put this all in our calculator, and that's going to give us 27. Okay. Okay, so another skill you need to know for the test would be determining whether the value is a solution to the equation. Okay. So is it a solution or not? Yes or no? And so that's pretty much the same procedure as before. You're going to get about 2 questions of these. And they're basically almost the same thing, except you're testing to see if this left side, oops, I'm sorry. The left side of the expression of the equation equals the right side. So does it equal 20 if we plug in -4 for x? This is supposed to be a 2 right here. Okay. All right. So again, we use order of operations, and we're going to get 3 times positive 16, and then we can do multiplication over here, which would be -28, and we can do multiplication again, so that'll be 48 minus 28, and that gives us 20. So does it equal 20? Yes, it does. Okay. Next, we have combining like terms. You're going to have, actually it's going to say simplify. So it's going to say simplify the expression. And you're going to get about 3 of these. Okay, so here's an example. So you want to distribute if there's parentheses to clear those out. So now we have, I'm going to write over here now, it's going to be 2y plus 8 plus 7y minus 35 plus 3. Then we look for, so we distribute, then we look for like terms. So that would be these two y's right here. That would be 9y. And then if we put these three together, that's going to give us negative 24. And okay, so I forgot to mention that number 2, the answer is yes. You're supposed to say yes or no. So you would say yes. Okay. All right. If it doesn't match, you say no. Okay, next you're going to have another skill, which is solve equations. And you're going to have about 6 of these. Okay, they're going to be different types. So just remember, you're going to have a multi-step, which is the one we're about to do, which is a long one. We're going to have ones with fractions, ones with decimals, and then we're going to have ones where you don't really get an answer. You have to come to a conclusion, which is all real numbers versus no solution. Okay, so do I have room? Let's see. Yeah, right over here. So let me write this. Let me go ahead and distribute my 48 and my 8 right here. So I'm going to put the result of that over here on the right. So it's going to be so 96x minus 48 equals 8x plus 40 plus 2x. Okay, so remember, I'm getting that from over here. Then I look to the left side and say, okay, there's nothing to really clean up there. There's no like terms. On the right side, there are like terms. There's these two. So we're going to put those together. Leave the left side alone for now. That's going to be 10x plus 40. Ooh. And then we can collect x's to the left side using the 10, because it's smaller, and that'll produce positive numbers over here. 86x minus 48 equals 40. Then we add 48 to both sides. Oops. And that's going to be 88. Then we divide both sides by 86. And basically, we have to reduce, okay? So we can divide this by 2 and this by 2. We're going to get 44 over 43, okay? So that was an example of a multi-step equation where you actually get an answer, x equals something, in this case an improper fraction, 44 over 43. In the next case, as you can see, the answer has no solution. So let's see what that looks like. So distribute on the left and on the right. That's going to give us 5x plus 15 minus 14, 5x minus 15. We're going to go ahead and put these two together to make positive 1. Then we subtract 5x's from both sides. That will make our x's disappear, and the resulting numbers creates this statement, which we have to say, is it true or false? We can definitely see that that's false. Okay, that does not equal. Therefore, this is no solution. Okay. Now remember, if they do match, then it's a true statement, then it's all real numbers. So let's take a look at that one. So again, we're going to distribute 16, let me do it over here. So 16x plus 32 equals 16x plus 8 plus 24. Put these together right there. Now you can kind of see that they're both exactly the same on the left and the right. So from there you could pretty much conclude that it is all real numbers. If not, you can take it a step further, take out the x's. And again, you will see that they match. Whoops. So that's all real numbers. Or if you want to take it one more step further, you're perfectly welcome to do that. And again, it's another identity. So these are all identities, all three of these checks, which will lead to the same conclusion, that it's all real numbers, okay? So next we have number 7, which this is an equation with decimals. You're welcome to leave the decimal in there, or you can use the strategy that we talked about in class, and that is to make all of these terms whole numbers. And if you look, the number in the middle is going to need 2 decimal moves to the right so we can get 535. Well, we have to treat everyone the same. We have to multiply everything by 100. So that means we're going to have to add a 0 to the 2.5 here and add a 0 here. So that's going to create a new equation with all whole numbers. So 250 minus 535 equals 740. Again, you don't have to do it this way, but this just gets rid of decimals until the end. So now I can add 535. And then divide both sides by 250. And we get 5.1. Okay. And we also have equations with fractions. And again, you can choose to deal with the fractions individually throughout the process of algebra. Or you can say, you know what, I want to go ahead and get rid of these fractions using the technique of multiplying both sides by the LCD. So the LCD between 3 and 4 would be 12. So I would multiply both sides by 12. So that's going to produce, now I'm going to have to multiply the numerators. So that's going to give me 12x. Actually, let me do it. Whoops. Let me do it over here. That's going to give me 12x over 3 plus 60x equals 12 over 4. Now you can skip that part and just get the whole numbers immediately, but it's just an extra step. So this is really what we're looking for right here. Okay. Pretty nice equation with no fractions. And then divide both sides by 64. And you can't simplify that. So we are done. Next, you're going to get a physics problem, which is not really solving an equation, it's just evaluating. So the physics is really just a word problem to evaluate. So in other words, here's the equation, and they want us to plug in 2 seconds. So the height of the football is determined by that equation. We're going to insert every time there's a t, with a variable t, we're going to plug in the 2. So you can type this on your calculator or do it a little bit at a time. So that's 96 minus 64. And you get 32 feet. Okay. So it looks complicated, but it's not. Just plug in the seconds, which is t. Plug it in, evaluate, get your answer, and that's it. Okay, so for inequalities, you're going to have about 4 of those, okay, including the compounds. The compound inequalities. So this is just a standard inequality to solve. And then we have the graph, okay? So solve and graph. So it looks like I ran out of room, so I'm going to work over here to the left. And basically just solve as normal. Properties of equality. Whoops, that's not right. So this will be our answer, but then we need to graph it. So as you can see, there's x equals 2. Now you will have to create your own graph. So let me just, you don't need to do all the numbers. You just need a 0, a 2, close circle, and shade to the right. Okay, just like this one is. Okay, so you will have to do this on the test. All right, you will have to graph on the test. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple compound inequalities. Let's see. Don't really have room, so I'm gonna do it over here on the side. So whatever we do to get x by itself, we need to do to all the sides. So that's the middle part. We have to do it to the left and to the right. So that's going to be 3. That's 10. And we have 0 here, 3 here, 10 over here. So notice that there's no equal sign, so that's an open circle. There's an equal sign here, so that's closed. And then we just shade in between, okay? That's pretty much it. Then, all right, so here's another compound inequality, but we're not going to pay attention to this format right here. We didn't learn this. That'll be for college algebra if you ever take it. So just worry about the graph, okay? So we're going to solve this equation or this inequality. Let me write it down. So we're going to first subtract 3 from all those sides. So that leaves me with 5z. So 38 minus 3 is 35, and 18 minus 3 is 15. Then we divide all the sides by 5. And that's going to be 7 and 3. Okay. Then we need 0, 3, 7. So open circle at 3, close circle at 7, and shade in between. Okay. And the last question you're going to have is a word problem that has to do with figuring out what you have to make on your next test to reach your goal. Okay, so in this case, you have Paul, who's made an A, a C, right? And he wants to make a B at least. Okay, this is his goal. So what does he need to make on his third test? So I'm going to do this the algebraic method. Okay, you can do it however you want to if you know how to do it. So that means I'm going to say, okay, I've taken 2 tests, and I want to take another test that I don't know the score of, that I want to figure out. And if I average those 3 tests, that means divide by 3 after you total them up, I want that average to be greater than or equal to 80. Okay. I want to reach my goal or exceed my goal, okay? So that's pretty much the setup algebraically. And what you want to do is go ahead and, if you want, you can multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of this fraction. And then you can add up the points, which you could have done that in the previous step. So 99 plus 77. That's 100. 76 points earned. The goal is to earn 240 points. What's the difference? This is what you've earned. 176. The goal is 240. What's the difference? And 240 minus 176 is 64. So to get a B as an average, on the next test, Paul would have to earn 64 or greater. Okay? And that is it, guys. You'll have one of those as well. And so 20 questions again. Make sure you know how to do all of these. And we will see you in class. You're welcome to email me. And you can also do this practice test online to see how you do. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. See you soon.